Well, we're going to talk about a corner closet. I'm going to have to use my screened in porch because I have no room in the house, I have no room in the shop to lay this thing out. But a corner closet takes up a big chunk of your room. And the minimum amount I'm fixing to save, but I just don't know how you can get anything in there, but the minimum, you need to come from the two walls, find a corner, come over 4 feet, and then look at the other way. You need to come over 4 feet from this direction. So you got the two corners coming out 4 feet, and then at that point, then you need to come out 2 feet, and that is on the inside measurement, not the outside, the inside. You need 2 feet. And then we cut that in at 22.5 because what we need to do is we need a 45 across here. It's going to go across so that we can tie back into this other side. So let's go cut these other. We need to cut 3 of them, and they need to be, all 4 of them need to be exactly the same size, because when you frame this thing, it won't, it's going to be, everything's got to be the same in order for it to come out square and level. And then let me say one more thing. We got this square up against the wall so that we can make sure we're true to our main wall in the house. Okay, what we're going to do is since we've got this first one cut, we're going to lay it on there and mark each one. We need to do 3 more just like it. So let's get this one cut. Okay, we've got our two end pieces. Now what we need to do is we'll have to get our door size across here, so we need to measure the between those. Then we need to subtract 26 inches and then divide by 2. And I'll show you what we're doing, because that'll be our door size. So we've got 4 foot from that way, 4 foot on the right side, coming out 2 foot here, coming out the exact same amount this side. That's 2 foot on the inside. Now what we got to do, alright, now I'm going to lay out to where we come across from one end to the other end. Now you got to remember that both of these are squared from the wall coming out. Okay, and then our overall is 37 inches. So for 37 inches, subtract 26. That gives us 11, and divide that by 2 is 5.5. So what we're doing here, a 5.5 come from this one, come over 5.5 inches, do our 26, and then we're over 5.5 inches from this one here, because the 26 is the overall dimension of the door plus the jamb. What we need to do is we need to go cut two 5.5s, one for this side, one for the other side, and then the one going across the top is going to be 37. And I'll explain that to you here in a minute. Alright, let's take this in there and lay it out. Got our two pieces cut for our door. These are cut on both of these are cut on a 22.5 degree angle, so we make a 45 degree turn. Okay, but now that is what we call the bottom plate. Now there's a top plate, but it's not two pieces, it's one. And it's exactly the size of the two small ones plus the 26 inches. Now don't go by my measurements as being accurate. You may have to adjust a little bit one way or another. But in any case, this is your top plate, and then your other two side pieces something similar to that. That's what it's going to look like after you get it framed, but then these top pieces are going to be at the top. So what we need to do now, but before we move on, let me show you the area. Okay, like from this side you'll have a bar running across to hang clothes. On this side you'll have a bar that's only going to go halfway before it interferes with the other bar, so it'd probably be best to do a double bar on one side and then a single bar. Do the double bar on the side you got the most short clothes, and then a single bar run across one side for all your long clothes, like your hanging pants, your long jackets, coats, whatever that you need a lot of room. And then of course your shelving goes above that. But now what we need to do is we need to cut all the pieces, or I should say pieces. Now we need to cut all the studs so that we can nail all this together.